All right, guys. Good morning. It is asynchronous day, and I'm working on part 2 of Mr. Produce character. And I've had time to think about what I've already done and try to come up with a plan for where my two characters are going to be. So this is what I created in the first video that I did, and I wasn't quite sure where I was going with it, but I had at least my two characters started, and I've decided that they're both going to be female characters. Just kind of turned out that way, and I've decided that I want them to be at the beach. So that's what I'm going to continue with today. And since I needed some accessories, I've looked for things like hats and bathing suits and a nice beach background and some things that I can include to make my composition the way I want it to be. So these are my pictures. I hope you're looking for other pictures. You're obviously going to need to find a background picture for your work, but I think it's nice to find some accessories as well. So hopefully you are also looking for pictures to add to your work. So I'm going to open up Photoshop, and I'm going to open up the project where I left off, and I will enlarge this so that you get a nice view of what we started. And like I said, I'm working on my main computer, which happens to be a Mac, and I'm doing it simply because you're trying to watch this on video, and when I try to do a video using remote PC, I feel like you guys don't get to see the work that well because remote PC kind of keeps everything in that small mode. So at least for watching the videos, I'm hoping that seeing it larger is going to make it a little easier for you. Things might be slightly different on my system, but hopefully not that different. So here's where I left off yesterday. My girls need some legs, so I'm going to open my vegetables and figure out what's gonna be good for their legs. And I've got some options. What have I used so far? I've used red peppers. I've used carrots. I don't think I've used yellow peppers. So I think one of my girls is going to have yellow peppers for legs. And it is possible that I could use the select subject tool and get this whole thing. But since there's that little emblem down there, there is a chance that I might not get the whole thing. So instead, I'm going to use the second tool here, which is the quick selection tool. I'm making sure the plus sign is checked. On PCs, this does not look like this. On PCs, you see the little boxes, but in any case, I'm going to start clicking, and you can see I clicked once, I had it set at 40, and it grabbed the entire pepper. And honestly, I don't really need the stem because these are going to be legs. So I think since that's really all I need, I'm just going to select my move tool. I'm going to move my leg. I'm going to give my pepper legs to my girl on the right or the left here. And I might stretch it down a little bit so it looks like she, her legs go all the way to the ground. Move it in a little bit. While it's highlighted, I'm going to name it leg. And again, I'm looking at it, so I'm saying leg left 1 because she's my person 1. And while it's still highlighted, I'm going to click Control C, and then I'm going to click Control V, and there I have her second leg. Now, of course, I want this one to be flipped, so I will go to Edit, Transform, and then, flip horizontal. So now she's got 2 legs right there. They match her arms, which is kind of nice. I think I might let the bananas, which are her arms, be behind the cucumber instead of in front of it. So my left arm one, I want it to go behind body one. So I just kind of shifted it there. Right arm one, it's also going to go underneath body one. So now the arms don't look like they're in front of the body. So there we have with the body. And I might want the head to be on top of the cucumber, because right now the cucumber looks like it's going up into her chin, and that again is her body. So what I need is for her head just to be above her body. So I just flipped it. It didn't change anything where the eyes were concerned or anything like that. The eyes and everything are still where they need to be. I just raised it a little bit in my layers panel so that now it looks like it's on top of her body, the way I would expect to see a body and arms and things like that. Now I need to give some legs to my other girl. I don't need these peppers anymore. I'm going to X out. I'm going to go to open. And what shall we use for her legs? Decisions. I have used little ears of corn on the cob before for legs, but I think I'll use something different this time. I'm sure there's something here that's going to kind of be interesting. Honestly, this pea pod could be quite interesting as a leg. A little bit weird, but this whole thing is a little bit weird if you want to know the truth. That would be an interesting leg. Can you imagine having, she would look like the elephant woman. Okay. Let's just see what we can do with this. This is going to be interesting. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to feel about this, but I'm going to go with it anyway. This is definitely something where I can do a quick select. So if I go to Object Selection Tool, select subject, that entire potato should just come right out. And of course I'm going to go to the Move tool, and I'm going to drag this potato to my work. That is a huge potato. So it can certainly get smaller. And don't forget, if you're trying to keep the proportions of something, then hold the Shift key. If you're not concerned about that, if you just want to be able to adjust it in whatever manner you want, then you can just grab one of these little boxes and drag. Now clearly I need to rotate this, and I can just rotate it by finding the curved arrow there. If you don't see that, you go to Edit, you go to Transform, you go to Rotate. And when you do that, you should see that little curved arrow. Now, I'm not sure if this is still too big. It is. It's just a little big. I don't necessarily want her legs to be that big. I like the fact that the leg sort of went behind the body. Now, that was not done purposely. It just sort of worked out that way. Now, if you put your leg in there and your leg happens to be on top of the body, then by all means just shift where things are. Just move the potato or whatever you use for legs and just put them on the opposite side. So is this going to work? Yeah, I think that's going to work. And so I'm going to make a copy of it, Control C. Oops, I might have to click my check mark first. Now I'll hit Control C and Control V. And I've got my second leg. I'm clearly going to need to flip it. So I'll go to Edit, Transform, Flip Horizontal, and I'll just kind of slide it right under there so that now she looks like she has her legs kind of attached in that way. Now, I'm pretty good with everything right now. I do think I want her head to also be in front, even though I'm going to allow that to be her neck. And I think that's kind of good to have a neck. I think necks are very useful. I would like the apple, which is her head. And I should probably name these things. So the layer that I'm currently on is right leg 2, person 2. This one is left leg 2. And have I missed naming anything else? Let's see, I have some other things that I have failed to name. When I click on them, they should highlight for me, so I'm not sure. This one doesn't seem to be highlighting anything. Let's see what happens if I delete them. I lose her nose. Okay, I'm going to put that back. So that is the nose on my person 2. Nose 2. And let's see. Again, nothing is showing when I click on layer 2, so I can't tell what that is. So I'm going to once again delete it and see what ends up missing. And interestingly, I'm not seeing anything turning up missing. So try one more time. Nope, I don't see anything. Okay, so I'm not sure how that layer got in there. Maybe it was just like a mistake, but everything else seems to be labeled. I don't seem to be missing any other labels. All right, I thought I gave her a nose. Maybe that's what I lost. I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. She's still going to get a nose. And I might be a little different with this particular nose. I know that what have we used in the past? I think a potato could be an interesting nose, just a plain old potato. Again, try different tools just for the fun of it. We know it's easy to use the object selection tool and just click select subject, but if you can get yourself used to using some of these other tools like the magic wand, I think it's good practice. I will probably raise the tolerance so that I don't have to click on this forever. You notice that I definitely have the right one picked. The 2 black boxes tell me that it's going to keep adding to my selection as long as I keep clicking. And I'm going to just keep clicking. And since some of these tiny little bits don't want to pick up, I'm going to raise the tolerance even more. I'm going to try 70 and see if I have some better luck picking up all the little details. Now clearly, if I had done select subject, that would have been the easiest way to do all of this. But it is good practice because, like I said, we're not always going to have white backgrounds. Now, all those little flashy things that you see, they're probably going to show up white, but since this is going to be a nose, I don't think it's going to make any difference. So that would be a very big nose, so we're going to make that a lot smaller. And we're certainly going to rotate it. So again, go to transform, rotate. You should see a nice little curved line there. Go to your move tool and move the nose. Now when I do that, notice I don't see it. And I'm going to zoom in here a little bit because I want you guys to see exactly what I've got going here. So clearly her nose is not where it should be. So nose 1, all right. Nose 1 needs to be above head 1. So I'm going to keep sliding this up, look for head 1, keep looking. The head should be, where is that head? Oh, there we are, head 1. Okay, so there's head 1. So now you can see the nose, okay? And maybe I want to rotate it just a little more so that it is kind of turned the way her face is turned. And then if I'm happy with that, I can just click check. I can move it a little bit so it's exactly where I want it to be. So she has some eyebrows on her. I haven't really done anything for eyebrows for her. I'm gonna eliminate some of these photos that I've opened. Let's see, do I want to add some eyebrows to my other girl? I mean, I can be very creative with how I do this. I could feasibly, maybe instead of having eyebrows, actually, these blueberries, there's something interesting about them. I feel like they could almost look like eyelashes if they were used in a certain way. And I'm just gonna try. I don't know if this is something I'm going to like or not. It's selected everything because I went with select subject so that I could select everything. I'm going to carry them over and I'm just gonna see what happens. Let me zoom out a little bit here. What happens if I reduce this? Because remember, we can always change colors and everything later. So her eye can stand out later, and this can be more like a detail that that just sort of enhances her eyes. So I know at the moment you're not exactly sure. Actually, here's what else I can do to this. I can bring this up. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and so that we can get a nice clear look at this area that is going to be her eyebrows. And I can take my eraser and I'll go to the eraser here. The eraser is set at 35, and when you look at the size of the eraser, you can see how big it's going to be. I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to kind of erase out that little section, because what I want to see happen is when I go back to the move tool and I bring this back down, I don't necessarily want it to touch. I want it to sit sort of above. It's still a little big, so I'll bring it in some. I might want to erase a little more. Maybe I want to erase so that it nicely goes around that eye, okay? And if I back up, you can see now it sits sort of away from the eye, so it doesn't feel so, it's not touching it anymore, so now there's a bit of a separation to it. If I want to, again, copy this, well, first I'm going to name it. This is called Eyelash, which one? Right Eyelashes 1. Okay, and of course I'm going to make a copy, Control C, and then Control V, and of course I'll flip it. So I'll go to Edit, Transform, Flip Horizontal, and then I'll move it. So now she's got her cute little eyebrows here, okay? And I can raise it up a little bit by going to the up and down arrows on my keyboard. You have those 4 arrows, you know, up, down, left, right. Sometimes when I'm just trying to move things slightly, that's what I use. Okay, so she has eyelashes, my other girl has eyelashes. The one thing about my other girl that I've noticed, let Let me hurry up and rename this because this is not her right eye, this is her left eye. It automatically, when you make a copy, it automatically names it the same thing. So, or it might say copy, but if yours is saying copy, just make sure you rename it to the correct eye or side that it's supposed to be. All right, so where did I leave off? Oh, the eyebrows on my other girl. I don't know if they're eyebrows or eyelashes, but whatever they are. I called them eyebrows before. I left the stem on them, like right there. You can see there's a stem. I'm going to erase that because I don't want it to look like she has a unibrow there. So I'm going to now go to the left eyebrow and I'm going to erase that too. So now she doesn't have a unibrow. We don't want her to feel self-conscious. Okay. So okay, so here's my two girls so far. And the only other thing I'm going to add to them before I start accessorizing and finishing this up is a mouth, because you know clearly they do need to have a mouth. So let's see what we have. If I go to File and I go to Open, let's see, an apple, a red apple could make a nice mouth. I've got the cherry. I'm trying to think. We have raspberries. This red pepper, I know it's big, but what I like about it is that it's actually quite small. Let me zoom in on it a little bit. What I like about it is it's got this automatic shape to it, and I can erase what I don't like. So if I go ahead and say use the quick selection tool and just click on it, I can just grab this whole section. I clearly don't need the stem, and I can drag it over, and I'll probably put it on this girl because she, I think the contrast is going to be better because of the color of the apple. And I did want to make sure that the head on that was in front, so I'll have to still do that. But let me zoom in here so that you can see what I'm going to do. So I like the shape of it in terms of the bottom, but I want to change the shape on the top. So again, I'm going to erase, take my eraser, and I'm going to see if I can't turn this into something that might look more like a mouth. And then of course I can get rid of all of this, and it only erases what I want it to erase. It doesn't erase the carrot, doesn't erase the apple. It only erases the layer that I'm on. So I'm going to name this. This is Mouth 2, because this is my girl too. I'm going to zoom out. Okay, so she's set, and it placed in the right place. Like it didn't go underneath the apple. It went on top of it. But I do want that head to be above the body, so that is one change I want to make right now. So sometimes, you know, when you start getting into this many things, you're gonna have to look for items. So I'm looking for body 2. I see body 2, and I just need to find head 2, because I want body 2. And I could end up adjusting things in a way that is going to, let me find that head first. I see head 1. There's head 2. Okay, so if I move head 2, I'm going to start covering things. So the best thing for me to do is to move the body back. If I move the body down and I put it under head 2, there, now her head is above the neck. But now I still have the issue with the legs, which means the legs need to be behind the body. So I'm going to find those legs. There's left leg 2. Bring it down so that it goes behind. And then I need to find right leg 2. Right leg 2, there it is. And I need to drag it down so that it is also under the body. It doesn't matter left or right, which is in front and which is behind, as long as I think I'm going to also move her arms behind her body, because I'm about to bring in her some accessories for these girls, and I think having the arms behind the body is going to be also a benefit. So I'm going to bring that left arm 2 down so that it is also behind body 2, and then I'm going to bring right arm 2 not seeing it, right arm, there we go, that's right arm 1. Okay, I'm going to click on it and see if clicking on it will usually, what happens when I, nope, that is definitely right arm 1. Make sure I named these things correctly. I know she's got a right arm. Come on. You guys could actually be seeing this in the video, and somehow I'm missing it. Let's see, right arm 1, left arm 2. Huh. Okay. Well, I know that for you guys, you should be able to literally click on the image and it should highlight for you. And that should show you exactly where that item is. Because I'm working on a different system, I am not getting that benefit. So I might just have to leave her right arm there, although, there it is. I had it named wrong, so that was my fault. So let me rename that, and that would have saved me a lot of time if I had had it named correctly. Okay, so right arm 2 is going to go right next to right arm 1, and nope, there we go. Okay, and if I want to just move this in slightly, I can. I might just rotate this slightly. I don't think I actually need to see the stem, so I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to rotate slightly, so there's her arms and I don't see the stems anymore. Okay, all right, still need a mouth for my other girl, and then I think it's time to start accessorizing. So open, and let's see, what will we do for our other girl? Maybe our other girl, she smiles a lot, so we're gonna use this apple because she smiles, and we can actually just take out what we want here. And don't worry if it's not perfect, I can fix it I can fix it when I get it over there. I'll do some erasing. So I took out that much, and I'm just going to drag it over and bring it in. And of course it's behind her right now, so let me rename it mouth 1. I'm going to raise it up so that it's above head 1. So as long as I get it above head 1, I should see it. And I'm going to bring it in. Now actually, I think before I do this, I'm going to zoom in. So I'm going to go to View, Zoom in. You can hit Control plus to zoom in. If your shortcuts are working, Zoom plus, the plus on your keyboard, is going to zoom in for you. It's a quick and easy way to zoom in. All right, so right now her mouth is a little too big. Gonna kind of bring it in, bring it over a little bit. Again, I said I wanted to zoom in because I've got that white there, and I do want to clean that up a little bit because I don't want to see the white. And I can always adjust the coloring on things when I'm all finished. If I want to go to adjustments, I can do that. And if I feel like this just needs to be, you know, played with a little bit, I can do that too. And I see a tiny bit of area here that I want to eliminate, and that's pretty clean. Okay, so I'll zoom out. Okay, and she's very happy. She smiles a lot. All right, didn't really think about hair for these girls, but I'm not quite sure they need it. Well, here's let's put them where they're supposed to be. So the next picture I'm going to open is my background picture for them. Whoops, because I have picked out a background for them. Real quick, I'm going to hit save just because you can never save too often, and when you make that many changes, the last thing you want to do is lose your work. So go ahead and hit save. I'm going to open up my background picture. My background picture is going to be my girls enjoying the beach. They are on a vacation that they have needed very much. So I can just drag on this if I want to and go, and then drag down, and it should show up. Okay, I don't have to do the rectangular marquee. It should just drag for me. It might ask you, do you want to convert to a normal layer? And you would say yes, as long as when you exit out, you don't save it. So just never save that, just let it go back to its original format. So now I'm going to put this here, and it'll be interesting like how this shows up, because you can see clearly this, at least for me, this did not go to the background, and this is definitely my background. So I'm going to rename this background, and this is going to be on the very bottom. So I'm going to drag it all the way down in my layers panel till it's right above the white background. Okay, so there's my girls. Turns out I might need to I can do one of two things. I can try to make it so that they're like just touching the bottom, or I could even put some feet on them, and I might do that. For now, I've got the girls here on the beach, or they could just be standing in the water. That's true. So they can be on the beach. And I did get them some bathing suits. I thought they would probably like. Let me check that so that it's set. I thought they needed some clothes. So one of my girls has a cute little one piece to wear. And so how will we do this? Let's just, if I do it this way, it's going to take a little longer. But the nice thing is, like, I don't need that part, so this might actually be the better way to only get the areas of this that I need. And I think I've got it all, and I've eliminated those two little pieces, which I really don't need because that would be behind her neck. So I'm going to drag this bathing suit to the girl, and this will be bathing suit 1, and it's going to have to get moved so that it is above body 1. So let me find body 1, and I'll have to keep taking it a little bit north. When you have this many layers, this is a big part of what we're doing, is learning where to move these things to. Okay, so there's her bathing suit. It is now in front of her, okay, which is where I wanted it to be. I want to bring it in, and this is I'm gonna make this fit her, you know, as well as it can fit her. So if I bring it in there, I lose, you can see what happens if I make this kind of fit her exactly. I can bring this down a little bit. That sort of works. I could certainly make her a little fuller. If I do this, I'm probably going to make her legs appear a little fuller. I think what I will also do is I will go to her body 1, and I'm just going to take my eraser. I'm just going to erase her body right there so that now the cucumber doesn't show through that. And if I go to her left arm, I can shift that back slightly so it looks like it's behind her. Now these legs are clearly too tiny for what I need them to do. So let me find those legs. Leg left 1, okay, and I have to rename that other one. I didn't rename that one. So I'm gonna bring this leg out a little more. Okay, she's got a little more there. And since I want this piece to look maybe more like they're like right in the foreground, I'm gonna bring that leg down. I'm gonna rename this one because this one needs to be called, oops, and I have it kind of messed up here. It should say right or leg right 1. All right, and this one of course is also going to be stretched out a little bit, stretched down a little bit, so it looks more like she's got real legs there. I kind of think I want her arms to be a little bigger too, so I'm going to go to, whoops, left arm 1. Let me find my left arm 1, and I'm just going to make those arms a little longer because she's really excited to be at the beach, and those are her. That is her arm. I'm going to adjust this one. Again, she's very happy to be at the beach. They have saved forever for this vacation, and she's just very happy. So there we go. She's got yellow. Whoops, I need to my bathing suit. I'm just going to stretch. Actually, you know what I'll do? I'll go to the body instead, and I'll just erase where a little bit of that cucumber is showing. So if I simply take my eraser and I just go right there, it's only going to erase the cucumber. It's not going to erase the bathing suit. All right, so she's kind of set. I want to put a bathing suit on my other girl now, so let me get rid of that one. Let's open up her bathing suit. And for her, I decided a nice, modest bikini would be a nice thing to have for her. And I just have to find it. And right now oh, there it is. Okay, so that's what she got for her vacation trip. And I will probably use the quick selection tool for just the top. I only want to do a part of this at a time. And I don't really need that bow in the back, so I'm gonna leave the bow part out. So that's good for the top. I'm just gonna take that part. The bow, actually I could see that bow. You know what? I'm gonna leave the bow in. We're gonna take the bow. So I'm going to go back to my selection tool here, and I'm going to pick up the bow because I might just see the bow. I can always erase out the part that I wouldn't see, and you know, the part where her neck will be. So we'll leave the bow, bring it, and there we go. She's got her nice beach attire, and the only thing I need to do is I need to erase where her neck is, because clearly we're not supposed to see that. So I will just erase out that section, and I'm going to erase out this section, but I can still see the bow behind her, so it does look like this bathing suit is actually going around her neck. So that's how her bathing suit will look. It looks like it's sticking out slightly on this side, so I can adjust that slightly. Now we need the bottoms, so I'll go back and I'll hit deselect, and now I'll focus on just the bottoms. I'll do a quick selection. Now the colors are very different in here, so that's why it's not picking up everything right away, and I have to click multiple times, but I have the whole thing now. So I will now drag her bottoms to her body. I'm probably going to elongate her legs as well, because I want these girls to look a little taller. They look a little short right now, and so we're gonna stretch out her legs. So I'm gonna leave that for the moment, because I don't think that's that seems like it could work out pretty well. But I do want to get to her legs. Let me name her bathing suit. These are actually bathing bottoms, I'm gonna say. Bathing bottoms 2. And as far as the top part of her bathing suit went, that's this, we'll call that bathing top 2. All right, so now I'm gonna go to her legs, and let's see where they might be hiding. So this says leg right 1. Okay, right. We're looking for leg left 2. Okay, so there we go. So leg left 2. You know, unfortunately, I did give this girl some odd looking legs, but you know what? That's okay. These are vegetable people, and vegetable people have odd legs. All right, so since there's a little piece here sticking out and I don't want it, I've clicked on my eraser tool, and I'm just going to erase that. So now it looks like those legs fit right under that bathing suit, and there's no problem. And I will now shift over to the right leg 2, and I will again do some stretching and dragging and stretching some more. And I'm more concerned that the bathing suit fits her at the bottom here where the legs are. I'm not worried about this because I can erase that. So that seems like a good fit. So I click my eraser and I just need to get rid of that part of the potato. So now it looks like those legs fit and everything's good. Couple more things and then I'm going to kind of call this one finished. And again, I never save because I might want to use things again. I have some hats for these girls. So I'm going to open and grab the hats that I selected. And honestly, I'm not quite sure who's going to get which one, but it's very sunny where they are, so I think they definitely need to have hats. So how do I want to do this? I think I'm going to do do I want to do the magnetic lasso? Let's give it a shot. Okay, so yeah, I don't like the way that's picking up. So I'm going to kind of end that, and then if I hit Control Z, that gets rid of that. I'm going to try to come up with a quicker way to do it. I'll try the quick selection tool. Maybe I'll have luck just picking up the hat. Now, if I do end up picking up some of her hair, I can always get rid of it with the eraser. So as long as the bulk of the hat is selected, that's really the most important part, because that eraser tool is gonna get rid of a lot of things for me. I truthfully could have, I suppose, taken the whole thing and just erased her out of it when I got it over there, but at least I won't have as much erasing to do this way. Okay, I still have this part of the hat and this part of the hat, and I really wanted the back of the hat. I chose this picture because I like the fact that you can see the back side of the hat as well as the front side of the hat. So that's why I selected this for one of my hats. And you can see this one is taking a little more time than a lot of things I've used. Now, if I really want to save myself a little time, I can go to the minus sign up here, and I can perhaps lower this to maybe, we'll say 27. And if I click here, this is going to subtract a little bit of her hair for me and save me from having to do that when I get to the other document. So I think this is gonna do it right here, and we'll see how this works out. So I click the move tool and I start to drag. Okay, and clearly I'm going to have to do a lot of erasing for this because it's very jagged there, and I don't want it to be so jagged. So let's see, I feel like the hat's going to work better on this girl, but I can flip it, so it's not as if I can't flip it. But on the other hand, before I make a decision, let me just shift it over here. I think I'll use it on this girl. This girl's gonna get the hat. Okay, so left girl hat, and it definitely has to be above her head. So I need to find where her head is, and or I should have called it Girl 1 hat, because I was naming my people 1 and 2. All right, so it's got to be, there it is, head 1. Okay, so I've now placed it on top of her head, and I can start to bring it in a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it touch her face. I'm going to bring it down so that it fits as well as it can possibly fit. And there's this little tool here that I can click, which allows me to actually move this hat so that it fits more perfectly. So that little arc right there allows me to really shift the way this hat fits her. So now this hat is fitting her around her head as if it was made for her head. And I can make it a little taller here. Here I need it to come down a little bit. So I'm really adjusting this hat so that it looks like it was made for her head. Okay. I think I might, now if I erase some of these things, I'm going to clean it up quite a bit. So I'm going to now take my eraser and clean up around her face so that it still looks like a peach. Give her kind of a nice round peachy look there. And I want her face to be nice and round on this side too. So, and again, you don't have to worry about touching anything else, because it's only doing something to the hat right now. It is in no way doing anything to anything else. So you're not going to accidentally erase her face. You're not going to accidentally erase something that doesn't belong there. Now back here we have this green showing, and I believe that's part of the peach. So I just clicked the peach, and I'm just going to erase that because that is part of the peach, and I don't want that to have any effect on how this looks. Okay, so she's got a hat. It's a little tall at the top. I'm not quite sure I want it to be that tall. Left girl hat. And just bring it down slightly. Gonna click this so that I can really adjust this to be the shape I want it to be, and I think that's closer to the way I'd like to see it. Okay, and just pull it out a little. Okay, so I'm good with that, so I'm going to click the check mark. All right, so that hat is done. Now I'm going to open up another hat, and this hat, let's see, I honestly don't remember what hat I got for the other girl. Oh, maybe it was this one. I think this might have been the hat that I got for the other girl. I thought black was a simple enough object selection. I'm just going to click select subject, and it grabs everything. It's even got the that, and I don't know how much of that I'll use, but at least I've grabbed it all. So I'll bring that over, and right now I'm not seeing it, and I assume, why am I not seeing it? All right, let's see where that layer is right now. Let's try this again. Okay, so here we go. You know why? I'm not seeing the hat. Okay. Let's, I'm not going to save. I'm going to open it again. I'm not sure what just happened there. So we're going to try to open that hat again. And if it doesn't work, I do have other pictures. And I do somehow have, I can see that as I'm clicking here, I have the lasso tool selected, and I don't know if that has anything to do with why it just did that. Okay, now I'm looking at just an arrow, so that's a good thing. So let's try this one more time. Open. Okay, so maybe we'll try a different selection tool this time. I'm going to try the quick selection, and I got to make sure the plus sign is clicked. And you know what, I think I will leave out the strap. I won't worry about the strap. And let's see what, okay, now I see the entire hat moving. Before, you could probably tell that when I tried to drag it, it wasn't dragging the black part of the hat. And I don't know why that was doing that. I might have accidentally had something clicked that I shouldn't have. So so here she is right now. That hat is certainly taking up quite a bit, and I don't want that hat to be that big on her. And I'm probably going to let's see, how tall is her head? Her head comes up here. So these eyebrows can get a little smaller. So I can at least do that. And as you know, if we want to adjust this, if you go to this is a free transform tool here, I can bring these eyebrows in a little bit so they're not going to be quite so big. And if I make these eyebrows a little smaller, and if I do the same thing with the other eyebrow, again, you can go to edit, whoops, not perspective warp, that's not what we want. We want edit, whoops, we want edit, free transform. So this is how, if you hit free transform, you should see this little symbol here. And this little symbol lets you really change the way things look. So you can completely alter a shape using this thing. Okay, so now I've made her her eyebrows not quite so large, and if I just keep dragging, I can correct that. Now I want to go back to that hat, so let me find the hat. I hope I named it. There it is, and I hadn't named it yet, so I'm glad I found it. Hat 2, because this is my girl too. So hat 2, I want to transform that too. So I'm going to free transform. There's my little tool right there to free transform something. So now if I want this hat to, you know, maybe come up a little more on this side and come up a little more on this side, and maybe I want to stretch it out a little bit on this side. Maybe I feel like because she does have a larger head, I want this hat to sort of suggest that she does have this bit of a larger head, and so therefore she needs a larger hat. And maybe up at the top here, I don't want it to be so tall. Maybe just a little lower is a better way for that to go. And maybe I want to cover that stem a little bit, because I really didn't need the stem to show there in her okay. And the only other thing I haven't done with that hat yet is I haven't erased anything. And if I really feel like I want the eyebrows to be unaffected by this hat, I can go in with the eraser, and I can even go up a little higher than the eyebrows so that it just looks like the hat is sitting there, but it's not necessarily covering her eyebrows. Okay? And so I'm sort of changing the shape of her hat a little bit, but she still has on a hat. Okay? So I'm pretty much done with this. I can do some things. If you add drop shadows to various things, for instance, if I want her body and her arms and her legs to seem like they have some type of a shadow to them, if I just click on the layer and then I go to FX and I hit drop shadow, you can see that now there's a drop shadow there. And if I do the same thing to the other leg, and I'm not even altering the drop shadow, I'm just going with the drop shadow that's already set. Now all of a sudden, she seems to have some 3D look to her. If I go to her bathing suit, if I find the bathing suit for my girl 1, and again I go to FX and I hit drop shadow, now it's like you can see how she's beginning to kind of pull away, and she doesn't seem so much like she's just flat. If I want to go to her head and just make her head seem like there's just enough of a shadow there that, again, there's some shadow under that hat. I might even make that shadow even darker. You probably remember before that I changed colors of things. You can go in here at this point and you can literally change colors of things. So if I don't want her top to be pink, if I want her top to be a different color, I can find her top, and that's probably the hardest part because there's so many layers. But actually the black hat, I'm not crazy about that black hat. I'm gonna see what color I can make that hat. Let me find it. Okay, well there's the bathing top. So I'm gonna go to the bathing top, and you know, if you go to layer, new adjustment layer, and then if you go to hue saturation, and of course you have to click use previous layer, I can change the color of her bathing suit to red. Maybe I want it to be green to go with the color of her face. I kind of like that, actually. I like it being green. That kind of works well for me. I like that. So I'm gonna leave that green. Maybe, let's see, what other things might I change? You know, maybe I don't like the color of her bathing suit either, to be perfectly honest with you. You know, it's okay, but I don't necessarily love it. So I'm going to go to layer again, new adjustment layer, and again I'm just going to, maybe this time I'll do photo filter and see what changes I can make. If I look at my options, it's already kind of blue. She's a peachy color, so I should see what happens if I choose kind of an orange. And right now it's changing a little bit. It's starting to look kind of grayish now. And what happens if we, yeah, I'm not sure I like that. Let's see, what if I find like a red and see what I can do with that. If I get rid of the luminosity on it, it's going to change it quite a bit. Now we're going back to the blue. It's more purple now. I'll leave it like that. I'm not saying that I love it like that and I would necessarily keep it like that, but I'm going to leave it. And the other thing, of course, I can do to this, if I really want to make this all me and nothing else, I can go to the background layer and I can go again to new adjustment layer, and I can go to hue saturation, use previous layer to create mask, and I can really change, you know, the background to this. You know, if I want my sky to be somehow different, I can change the colors to go with whatever I want. Change the saturation. It's really kind of my call how I go about doing it. So if you feel like you want to make those kinds of changes, you can. You don't have to, you know. That's kind of interesting having the deep blues there. But in any case, so this is going to be where I stop, okay? Am I saying that there's not about 100 more things I could do to this? I could, but I'm just going to stop here. So let's see what kind of crazy thing you come up with. I'm looking forward to seeing your work. All right, you guys have a great day.